Hello and welcome again to the Monster Sci-Fi Show. I am your host, the Monster, back once more to deliver some geeking news to your geeky ears and make your way to your geeky brain, something like that. So for this week, I don't really have much in the way of topics, just a lot of little things I'm going to be talking about. For this week is going to be about renewals and some cancellations, and some news that I just got today and regarding to my library work kind of extending outside of my library, and then I'll end up talking about some upcoming shows I'm going to be doing really soon. So let's begin with the news that Agent Carter has been renewed for a second season, which is great news because, frankly, we do need to have strong female characters who are in the lead role of a series that can definitely pull off great storytelling, great action, as well as their male counterparts. So there's nothing wrong with that. I have yet to see the Avengers Age of Ultron, but the news that I've been hearing is that there's some disgruntled about that, which I'll talk about that in a future podcast, but for right now, that is a good plus that we are getting that. We are getting Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, which, okay, I expect that to happen just because, Age of Ultron is a huge success, and, for the most part, it's been tied into the MCU for the most part, so there was no surprise there. The big surprise was the spin-off series that I've talked about a couple of times, the Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. spin-off, in which Mockingbird character and her husband, Hunter, are not going to be spun off into their own series, which I'm kind of glad about that because, as I've mentioned, the show is better, but it is not at the point where it is so strong that, yes, you can spin off these characters and do their own shows. I think the addition of these characters kind of helped make the show a little bit better, a little bit stronger. And if you take those elements out, then you're weakening what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is about. But the big news that I wanted to talk about, I'm really peeved. I mean, if you haven't heard by now, Constantine is not being picked up for season 2. It's not to be unexpected. This is NBC, of course, which canceled Star Trek after season 3. But in fairness, this is what happens. You have Friday nights, which is the crappiest night to have a show like this. Kind of like what happened with Star Trek. So we do have some history with that. But I do want to talk about a couple of things. As I mentioned, Daniel Cerrone, who was the executive producer, I've been following his tweets, and on my way home, my friend Connie, who has been helping spread the word about saving Constantine, so thank you, Connie. Not that I'm doing anything different, but we're big fans. So she texted me about the news about the show being canceled, and of course I'm driving home and I'm like, yeah, I should not be looking at my phone. But when she said she was really, it's like NBC sucks, I kind of knew what was going to happen. So for the most part, even this morning, so Cerrone had mentioned that the best hope was for Constantine to come back as a mid-season replacement for the fall shows that didn't make it. So that's what he was hoping for. And then, boom, out of the, 6 hours later, or not 6 hours later, but pretty much later this afternoon, it says NBC, a no for season 2. Warner Brothers is working hard to find Constantine a new home. So he says, stay active, stream, and tweet with the hashtag Save Constantine, hashtag Hellblazers. So, for the most part, that's what we need to continue. Now, I did tweet out to Daniel about, when we get season 1 of Hellblazer, I should say Hellblazer, when we get season 1 of Constantine, which I'm assuming we will, kind of like what Firefly was, The sales were phenomenal for Firefly, which proved to the studios that it could be made into a movie, and hopefully we will get at least a Constantine movie. So I'm kind of hoping that will happen. Now, the other option, and someone had pointed this out, this is David Blass, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He put on a chart of the numbers for the show in comparison to others. So when we look at the popularity of Flash and Arrow and iZombie, Constantine is maybe about second to the best show. Actually, no, it actually is the best show out of the whole lot for the CW. So if there's going to be a good fit for the CW to have, this show would be it. Because as Daniel pointed out, is that this show would have done phenomenal on other networks based on its ratings. But because it's not, like the numbers of Gotham, which is going to be, almost close to 8 million, they don't really consider that to be a success, which is ridiculous. This is not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's not Agent Carter numbers, but it's still respectable numbers. So, whatever the case is, as I mentioned, we have options. So I'm hoping that DC and Warner Brothers get their act together, put it on the CW. Hell, put it on Hulu. Netflix has Marvel's universe kind of set up with original programming in the next couple of years. So why not have that be something that Hulu would offer in relation to Amazon, who is also performing or giving out original content, or even HBO. Who the hell knows? But the point here is that unlike Firefly, when it was canceled, the only other option was going to be maybe the Sci-Fi Channel would pick it up. Of course, that never happened, but now we have a lot more options. So, plus, fans do have a voice, more so now than before, of organizing and getting the word out. I'm not sure if you're a fan of Jericho. I came to the show late, but the fans after season 2 really went after CBS for not picking up the show, and they sent them nuts. And nuts is a reference to something inside the show which was perfect for them to throw at CBS. So they did get a shortened third season, but at least it was concluded. So if that's what's going to happen with Constantine, I would be okay with that. Now, having said that, as I mentioned before, the Justice League Dark movie that Guillermo del Toro had written, I tweeted to Matt Ryan, and I was hoping that he will get cast as Constantine, part of the Justice League Dark assembly. So I'm hoping for the very least that he gets to do that. And who knows? A lot could happen. We still have lots of different options that are in play. Daniel had mentioned that all the actors are still under contract until the end of June or by June. So again, a lot could still happen, but you need to do your part. You need to help spread the word with the hashtag SaveConstantine, hashtag Constantine, or hashtag Hellblazers, and watch the shows, rewatch the shows, stream it, tweet about it, tell your friends, convert them, anything to get that attention to those networks out there that people want more Constantine. So it can be done. It's been done before. It's up to all of us to do our part. So that's all I'm going to talk about for Constantine from right now. Alright, so for this week, I've been really busy with the library stuff. I've gone to a couple of trainings earlier this week and also all day today. The big thing for me is that my library is getting a makerspace. So the training that I was getting was about the different equipment, ideas, programs for constructing our own space. And then we also talked about wearable technology, and I got to do Google Glass, which was kind of cool. But in all honesty, I had a headache putting that thing on. Well, let me clarify. The minute I put it on, because everyone that was in the training got to play with it, so by the time I got it, I was the last one. The side where you have the computer was already hot to begin with. So, considering how small the whole, if you want to call it a motherboard, the equipment, there's no fan to keep it cool. So yeah, it's going to get hot, and it was just like, that doesn't make sense to have something that's going to be hot pressed against the side of your face. Okay, so that's strike number one. Strike number two was that the glasses felt okay, but the little monitor that's over my right eye, I had to look up, but it's not as if I can ignore or close off my eye, because both my eyes are looking up just to look at the little monitor. So as I'm looking up, the peripheral vision below, as I'm walking, I can see that, but then the video, as I'm looking up, I'm seeing the video, and it's slightly like a slight delay with the walking of what I'm doing below, really gave me a kind of a disorienting feeling. So it kind of was like, if I don't know if you ever wore bifocals like I do right now, but bifocals basically, if your eyes are not used to looking above and below the different lenses, can really screw up your equilibrium. So, and it took me a couple of weeks to get used to that movement and the adjustment. So I think there is that initial period of adjustment, but for me, right in the very beginning, I just felt very awkward and this is not something that I would want to have, basically. But since Google did pull that glass for the most part off the market, we're going to get a redo, or Google Glasses Point 2, who knows, whatever they're going to call it at, but they are going to get a redesign on that. Now, I did mention during the class about Microsoft is going to do the HoloLens, which I think that's even better because it's augmented reality, whereas you have the vision in front of you with these special glasses that comes in view of both glasses, both eyes. So it's not just one eye that's working harder than the other. You have the full image in front of you, floating, so to speak, in or on real objects. So with that, you're able to manipulate things or do whatever you want to do with it, but it's augmented, as opposed to virtual reality like the Oculus Rift, where you're in a headset and the computer images are moving in relation to your head and so forth, which is going to be a little weird for me because, again, when I wear glasses, it's still uncomfortable, and it's kind of like I get all foggy with my glasses. But with the Microsoft HoloLens, it's kind of like a double pane lens, but except for it looking a little bulky around the back, it does seem to be more natural to me, or at least it seems to be what I would like to wear as far as technology. Alright, so the other bit, and this is from a co-worker who knows that I do blogging for myself, the Monster Sci-Fi Show, on WordPress, and I do a library one called Page 49, also on WordPress. So I try to kind of keep things separate, whereas sci-fi and geeky on one side, and library and kind of library tech news, things like that, on the other. But there are times in which the two kind of blend together. So there is a site through, I believe it's YALSA, which is is a branch of the American Libraries Association branch for young adults, in which they have a site, and it's called Cosplay, Comics, and Geek Culture in Libraries. So she thought that this would be right up my alley, and it was. So I emailed the person who was asking for potential bloggers to submit something, and I got a response back. So in the coming weeks, I'm hoping to contribute blog entries to the Cosplay, Comics, and Geek Culture and Libraries website. And if you want to take a look at that, just go to ccgclibraries.com, and that's the site that I will be posting soon. And I'll let you know when it's there. So that's kind of like yay for me, because I've been blogging since, like, I don't know, 2006. And not that I complain that no one ever reads or listens to my podcast, but it's nice to kind of branch out and establish yourself as, you know, not as much an expert, but someone who has a passion for things and can write about it. And I definitely do that. I mean, I did one post for my page 49 in which I was documenting the turning of one of the library doors into the TARDIS door for the 50th anniversary, which my coworker Barbara, hi Barbara, had helped me with. And we had, you know, ideas and how to construct it, and we finally did it, and I took nice pictures of it, and it came out really great. I was really happy with that. So that's what I think kind of marries me to that site, is because it's really geeky and it's in a library, so why not have me do more of that? So I'm really happy about that. So, alright, so almost done with the podcast. The last bit is going to be basically what are my upcoming shows. So, as I mentioned, I have not seen the Avengers new movie. I am going to see it with my family tomorrow. I'm going to see it tomorrow with my family. But on Monday, this coming Monday, Mr. Gene and I are going to watch this. And then the next day, on Tuesday, we're going to do the actual podcast, which we haven't done in a while since The Kingsman. So I expect that to be loads of fun, an extremely long podcast, so I may break it up into smaller segments. But again, it will be done very soon. I'm going to be talking also of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when that wraps up, with another colleague whose name is David, who's the one that got me back into watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So when that is done, we are going to sit together, we're going to talk about this and see what his thoughts are and my thoughts are regarding the season and the overall series itself. And then, since Gotham has already finished up, I'm waiting on Arrow and Flash to also finish up, and I'll be talking about those series, kind of like a whole season review of what's been going on. But it's going to be primarily just myself, unless someone out there who's been listening to my show wants to chime in or wants to be a guest on my show. So if you watch Gotham, if you watch Arrow, if you watch The Flash, and you want to share your thoughts with me, let me know. You can email me at monsterscifishow@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter, Monster Sci-Fi Show with the Scifi handle. And of course, find me on the Facebook page, The Monster Sci-Fi Show. And again, I want to thank a lot of people that's been listening to my show. Connie, who go to my movies at the library. We got to see Iron Man 2 this past week. And we're going to have Superman, the movie, next month with Christopher Reeve. And I cannot wait to see that, because we have a brand new projector, an HD projector, and it's going to look fabulous. So I cannot wait to see that with you, as well as all the other library patrons that come to that. And of course, Tigger and her sister Tina have been listening to my show. And again, you guys, I'm really happy with what I'm seeing as far as the number of downloads that you guys are out there. But please, make yourself known to me. If you like it, great, let me know. If you don't like it, even better, because I want to make my show better, but I need your help. So again, you have my information, and that's all I'm going to say. So on that note, thank you very much for listening to the Monster Sci-Fi Show. Sci-fi from a certain point of view. Good night, folks.